The last time I wrote a song was in a college bathroom, scribbling my life away on scrap after class. Soon lacking on the grades, considered the time wasted. What I learned today was I failed and I hate this. To have my efforts graded and subjectively misplaced with teenage wastes of space with bank statements loaded with the commas. I do not belong with all yous, nothing but a slave for squalor on the bench watching ballers like holler. If you got some debt now, you're in full effect. If you're poor, let me hear some chest pounds. If you're insecure, show them how the hollows get down. Walk like you were never dead as if you're so.
I'm Katie J, and your Skyline Scoop starts right now. Good morning, Raiders. Today is Teachers, don't forget that the announcement process is entirely electronic now. All you have to do is fill out the Google form, which has been sent to your email, and you can attach files if you want something to be shown on Skynet as well. And remember that all announcements must be submitted at least 2 school days in advance. Ms. Horner's January hashtag Make and Take. If you have a dog and would like to make a DIY toy, come to Make and Take January 25th during all lunches. Magnet application season is in full effect if you're currently a 9th or 10th grader who is not in a magnet program or in a NAF Academy. Please consider applying now. You can apply online at magnetonline.dallasisd.org and more information in Office 104 with Ms. Guzman. Also, please spread the word to any 8th grader you may know. The deadline to apply is January 31st, 2019. Now let's hear Ms. Horner with Raider Readers.
Hey guys, this is Mrs. Horner. It's been a little while since I've had an announcement for you, so I just want to announce the third 6 weeks Raider Readers and then also the results for the first semester. Our first semester, first and second, third place winners, they all won gift cards for reading the most books for the first semester, which is pretty cool. So let me start with the third 6 weeks. This is right before winter break. First place, Alexander, 9th grade with 194 books. Second place, Ariana, 10th grade, which is also first place for sophomores with 164 books. And third place, Kenneth, sophomore with 124 books. First place for juniors, as always, is Diego. He read 95 books. And then for our seniors, we had Joanna with 44 books. So that's pretty awesome. A significant jump in the books read for the senior class. So good job. All right, first semester now. All right, a ton of books being read, which is really, really awesome. So first place, this will be of no surprise to anybody. It is Alexander, 9th grade, 571 books. That is amazing and crazy. And he won a $25 gift card. Second place, again, this will not be shocking to anybody. Ariana, she's been a solid second place winner most of the year. She read 446 books and she also got a gift card. And then third place, this is a little bit surprising because we've had different people in this position. And we have Kenneth, 10th grade, 370 books for the semester. So again, hundreds of books being read. Keep it up. I want to give my honorable mentions to my first place junior class winner and then my first place senior class winner as well. We have Diego, and he read 241 books during the first semester. And then we have Joanna, 12th grade, with 85 books. So good job, all of you, and let's get some new names in here. Let's give these other students some competition.
Now for your A segment.
On April 4th, 1968, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was shot to death on a hotel balcony in Memphis, Tennessee. His death literally changed the world. We begin our coverage with a look back at Dr. King's legacy and why 50 years later, it's still a work in progress. 3 generations retrace the steps of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. this week on U.S. Highway 61.
Mine eyes have seen the glory.
It was here in Memphis that the civil rights leader delivered his 1968 mountaintop speech.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
He arrived in Memphis in early April that year to support the striking sanitation workers amidst planning what was to be a massive presence in the nation's capital, the so-called Poor People's Campaign. But he was assassinated by James Earl Ray on April 4th. What followed instead was a reckoning. The riots after the King assassination, also known as the Holy Week Uprising, represented the greatest wave of social unrest the United States had experienced since the Civil War.
There is a legitimate gripe.
In the years preceding his death, the Baptist minister used his well-known tactics of nonviolence and civil disobedience. King led the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott, and in 1962, as the first president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, launched an unsuccessful campaign against segregation in Albany, Georgia. He helped organize the nonviolent 1963 protests in Birmingham, Alabama.
We must make the pledge that we shall all...
Then came the 1963 March on Washington, where he delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
In 1965, he helped to organize the Selma to Montgomery marches and took the movement to Chicago to work on segregated housing. In his final years, he expanded his focus to include opposition to poverty and the Vietnam War.
I accept this award.
As this happened, King's popularity began to wane after he received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. He began to lose momentum as he moved attention from civil rights in the South to tackling segregation and poverty in the North. A 1966 Gallup poll found nearly 7 in 10 Americans viewed King unfavorably. Today, people honored King's sacrifice at the memorial dedicated to him in Washington, hoping to connect his message to today's struggles. Around the country, there are all sorts of reminders of his work, and hundreds of streets in the U.S. have been renamed in his honor.
It came as a joyous daybreak.
And children everywhere read and reenact King's "I Have a Dream" speech every MLK Day, a federal holiday by a vote of Congress and signed into law by President Ronald Reagan in 1983.
Now is the time to make real promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice.
But it's the deeds, the actual living out of his legacy, that 9-year-old Yolanda King addressed at the recent March for Our Lives gun control rally in Washington. The granddaughter of Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King had a call to action of her own.
My grandfather had a dream that his 4 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that enough is enough. And that this should be a gun-free world, period.
Yet, King's dreams are still largely unfulfilled. According to a new Associated Press poll, just over half of all Americans, including 79% of blacks and 44% of whites, said African Americans continue to face disadvantages to getting ahead. This week's events were intended to try to bear witness to the words of Martin Luther King and maybe help fulfill more of his vision. King himself laid out in a 1968 sermon, which came to be known as the drum major instinct, how he would like to be remembered. He spoke then at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta.
Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major, say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter. I won't have any money to leave behind. I won't have the fine and luxurious things of life to leave behind, but I just want to leave a committed life behind.
That's all we have for today, Raiders. Be sure to catch up on all things Skyline by following us at Skynet Broadcasting. And to make sure you never miss an episode of the Skyline Scoop, you can sign up to receive mobile broadcasts by texting at SKYN to 81010. And catch us every day at skynetbroadcasting.org. And make sure to listen to tomorrow's hits, today and every day, in the cafeteria or anywhere else in the world with Skynet Radio. I'm Katie J, and from everybody here at Skynet, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.